Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me for Storytime with Sue. Today we'll be talking about seeds. I picked this topic because right now we're growing thousands of seedlings at the farm in the greenhouse. Farmer Greg and Farmer Bee and Farmer Hope are all planting seeds for vegetables, fruit, herbs, and we'll be selling those very soon at our annual seedling sale. You can start to order on April 27th. We'll be sending out all that information, and we hope that you will take advantage of this wonderful way to start your garden. So today I'm going to tell you all about seeds. First, I thought I'd start with a short story. Some of you might have done this sort of exercise at school. This is called Growing a Plant, a Journal. And I know in about, I think second, third, fourth grade in the Newton Public Schools anyway, you learn all about growing seeds. And if any of you have ever come to see us at the Green Expo or any other program where we've been presenting information, sometimes we have something called a little seed buddy that we teach you how to plant and turn into a necklace. So this story is a lot about that sort of thing. Growing a plant, a journal. And this is by Rhonda Jenkins. So let's get started. You see, the chapters are sort of done by weeks. Week 1. I took 1 bean, some soil, and 1 glass. See the bean in there? I planted the bean and I watered the soil. Most seeds need soil and water to get started. Ooh, look at that. Week 2. A root grew first, then a shoot grew, and now it has a little leaf. See, there's the root. Here's the bean you started with. Here's its little leaf. And here come the roots. You can see it on this picture. See the roots? See the tiny leaf? There's your big bean that you started with. There's this little shoot coming out the top. Ooh, look, it burst through the ground. Week 3. The shoot has come out of the soil. You see it? Now the leaves are opening, so now it needs some light. These are the first leaves to come out of the bean plant. So you have your shoot, your leaves. There's your bean seed, and there's your little hairy roots coming out. Week 8. Now it really looks like a seedling, doesn't it? The plant is 8 inches tall. It is ready to plant in the garden. Now it has a lot of leaves. Week 12. Ooh, so pretty. Now the bean plant has a lot of flowers. See the beautiful flowers? In the drawing, they're attracting a bee. Week 13. The flowers have died. Now there are little pods where the flowers were. Ooh. See little pods in the picture? Little bean pods. Week 15. The pods have gotten bigger. Inside there are some beans. I can plant one of these beans to make a new plant. The end. It shows you the index, which is if you want to look up a certain part of the story, like if you're interested in learning more about leaves for bean plants, you'd look on these pages. If you want to see something about a bee, you could look on page 11. And there you have it, the starting of a little bean plant. So today I wanted to show you some seeds that I have. My friend Mary gave me all of these beautiful seeds. I love the packages and the artwork on here. We have cosmos, flowers, Swiss chard. We have both of those at the farm. We have cucumbers, pumpkins, and I bet you know what a pumpkin seed looks like. You may have eaten those before or scooped them out if you decorated a jack-o'-lantern in October. Here's basil. We have basil growing right now. Peas. I just learned about beans, and there's pea pod. And the last one I have to plant is parsley. So I'll be getting these started. Let's take a look inside. What should we look at today? Let's see what cosmos flowers look like as a seed. They feel little. You can hear them in there. Let's take a look. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, can you see that? Oops, tiny little black seed. Tiny. I'll put it against a white background. These are the seeds that came out of the flowers from the last time they were planted. And you can do that too. You can save your seeds from your flowers outside, or they might just self-seed. I have black-eyed Susans in my yard and echinacea, and they just keep dropping seeds into the ground, and every year I have more. Here's some seeds for peas, and they're little dried peas. Do you see? They are bigger and easier to plant with your fingers. The tinier seeds are a little bit harder. I'll show you seeds from something that I'm sure you eat a lot. You know what this is? This is an apple core. My daughter just had this for lunch. And we use a special little device to push down on the apple, break it up into segments. And here is the inside core. And inside the core, there are little apple seeds, which you usually don't eat. And if you cut it open, you see that it makes a pretty star pattern. Can you see the star? It's like a 5-petaled flower, and there's a couple seeds in there. I'll show you some more seeds in a few minutes. I have another story about seeds. This is a classic, 60th anniversary on this one. The Carrot Seed by Ruth Krause, and pictures by Crockett Johnson. And you might recognize this because these are the people who made Harold and the Purple Crayon. So it looks very much like Harold from Harold and the Purple Crayon. Ooh, it's carrot colored inside. This book was copyrighted in 1945. Wow, that's a pretty old story. A little boy planted a carrot seed. So he dug up his soil nice and loose. He made a little divot in the dirt and he dropped his seed in. His mother said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." He put his little sign there on a stick to remind himself that that's where he planted it. His father said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." And his big brother said, "It won't come up." Every day, the little boy pulled up the weeds around the seed and sprinkled the ground with water. You pull up the weeds so that they don't take the nutrients from the soil, and instead the plant that you want to grow, in this case the carrot, will get the nutrients. But nothing came up. And nothing came up. Everyone kept saying it wouldn't come up. But he still pulled up the weeds around it every day and sprinkled the ground with water. And then one day, a carrot came up. Oh my goodness, look at the top of that carrot. It's huge. Just as the little boy had known it would. And look at the size of that carrot. It's as big as that little boy. The end. The top of the carrot looks like. The actual carrot that we eat grows underground. Carrots are root vegetables. So you don't usually get to see this part, but it's very pretty and it smells really good. And if you ever get carrots from the farm, you'll see that that part is on top, especially if you went to the farm stand. Rabbits love this part, even more than this part. The next thing I want to tell you about are seeds that I put in my bird feeder for the birds, particularly in the winter. I use this called Birder's Blend. Last week we talked all about birds, and particularly chickens. These are the seeds that the birds around my house like to eat, especially sunflower seeds. Those are those black seeds right there. We get a lot of chickadees in our yard, and they really like sunflower seeds. They're very messy. They crack them open, take the insides out, and you may have eaten sunflower seeds yourself. You can get them usually unshelled, sometimes salted and roasted. There's a bunch of different little things in here, not all seeds. And I put them outside, usually in the winter, but today I filled up my bird feeder so I could show you what that looks like. So let me take you over here. Can you see my bird feeder? It's green right here. The top comes off, open it, and I put birdseed in. And at the bottom, there's a hole. And on the other side, there's a hole. And the birds like to come and perch and eat the seeds. That's another thing you can do with seeds. I have a few jokes for you today. What kind of bean never grows in a garden? You could try planting it, but it won't grow. What kind of bean would that be? A jelly bean, because jelly beans are candy and they're made out of sugar. They're not real beans. Here's another joke about beans. What is the fastest bean? You ready? A runner bean, because it's pretending like the bean can run. It doesn't really run. Here's another kind of seed I want to show you that I bet you've had before. In your spice cabinet, you might find all kinds of things like this. These are sesame seeds. Sometimes you get them on a bagel or on some bread. You need to find a good way to display this. I'll just drop them in my hand so you can see them. See them? They're just little white seeds, and you can eat them, and they're crunchy. So we have those at our house, which we put on our food sometimes. Another kind of seed that I really like is a celery seed. I put these in my salad. They're tiny, and they're very crunchy. And then the third kind of seed I'm going to show you that I bought from the grocery store are chia seeds. I had to write on the top what these were because I couldn't remember. These are also something that I like to put in my salad for a little crunch. All right, let's read another book. This is a beautiful book, and it's a whole series. We'll read another one sometime about rocks. This one is called A Seed is Sleepy, and I love the watercolor paintings that are the illustrations in these books. It's It's by Diana Hutz Aston and Sylvia Long. And the nice thing about these is that they're labeled, so you know what kind of plant these seeds came from. For example, this one is a Japanese maple seed. And up here we have Texas mountain laurel pod. And over here, you probably know this one, it's a sunflower. There's more on the back. So when you're outside going for walks with your family, you might want to start to look for seeds. You could draw them, you could label them, you could look them up in books and find out what kind of plants they're going to make. Or when you get groceries, you might want to look and see if you have any seeds in the groceries that you got. And I'll show you a few more seeds for common produce and vegetables in a minute. Let's read our book. Ooh, dandelion seeds. Do you see the dandelion seed? First, the dandelion is yellow. We'll see those this summer, I'm sure. And then it turns into a little puffball. And each seed has like its own little parachute, and it flies around and lands somewhere else to grow a new dandelion. Here again are lots of paintings of seeds and information about where each seed is from. Some of these you might recognize around here. Some of them are a little bit more exotic and not necessarily something that we can grow in New England. I've definitely seen maple leaf seeds. I've definitely seen corn seeds, which is basically a kernel of corn. I've seen milkweed seeds. We have milkweed at the farm. That's what the monarch butterflies like to eat. What other seeds? This seed is called a hamburger bean. I have never even heard of that. That sounds like something made up. So many different kinds of seeds. Well, sunflower seed, we were just talking about that in my bird seed. Let me tilt my screen a little bit to make this a little bit better. Ooh, a seed is sleepy. It lies there, tucked inside its flower, on its cone, or beneath the soil, snug, still. This is a sunflower head, and we used to grow these in our garden when I was a kid, and then we put the heads out for the birds to come and eat the sunflowers out of, and they smell so good. A seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring. But some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. A seed is fruitful. 90% of the plants on Earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants produce fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to grow. A seed is naked. What? Yes, naked. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though. Most redwood trees spring from existing trees. Scientists call gymnosperms, seeds that aren't clothed in fruits, naked seeds. Most naked seeds hide themselves on the scales of cones until they're ready to make a dash for the ground. There's the pine cone. Here's an example of a coast redwood. Here's a person for scale. Look at that! 350 feet high. Seeds come in many sizes. These are orchid seeds. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1 million seeds in one pod. This is the pod, and these are all the tiny little seeds. The seed of the Coco de Mer palm is the largest. It can weigh up to 60 pounds. 60 pounds! That might be how much you weigh. Imagine if you were a giant seed. A seed is adventurous. It must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down roots. There's that dandelion we talked about. A parachute of fine silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles from its parent plant. That's very far. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another. They have enough air inside to help them float. There's that hamburger bean. I'm going to have to look for more information on that. And their thick protective shells keep out seawater. So these make like little rafts and they float to their next destination. A seed is inventive. Excuse me. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod or cling to a child's shoestring. Well, I've definitely had those stuck on my shoelaces. Or tumble through a bear's belly. A seed hopes to land where there is plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. So here's a bean plant, much like we just read about with the plant journal. 2 days, 4 days, 1 week, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It shows how it grows into beans in a pod. And then you can start the series all over again. Here's rice. Here's a pumpkin seed. You'll notice this one takes 4 months to turn into a pumpkin from a seed. And the bean only takes 5 weeks. Here's a pine tree. 8 years to get to this point. And here's something called a teak. 1 year to get to this stage. The embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves, or I don't know how to say this word, cotyledons. Seeds with 1 seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots. Seeds with 2 seed leaves, like beans, are called dicots. There's the little seed. And there's his leaves. Here's the shoot. Here's the root. Here's the seed leaf. There's the bean. Some seeds are ancient. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an extinct date palm tree. After it was unearthed from a long ago king's mountaintop palace in Israel, a scientist planted it. 4 weeks later, it sprouted. That's amazing. Seed is thirsty and hungry. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep. Once a seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. Here's corn. Another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches for the sun. A seed is clever. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them the energy they need to turn water and carbon dioxide, a gas in the air, into food. It knows to seek the sunlight, to push itself up, up, up through the soil, but it must wait a while before that happens. Ooh. A seed is sleepy, but only until it has found a place in the sun and it has had its breakfast and a drink of water. Here's the sunflower seeds. Then a seed is awake. Ooh, beautiful sunflowers. Here's some more illustrations of different plants that grow from the seeds. There's the hamburger bean. I have a comment here that hamburger seed is for a climbing woody vine that grows in the tropics. There go the dandelions again. Now, I have a few things to show you that you probably have in your house right now, and you can check out the seeds inside of them. So sometimes we eat the seeds in our produce, and sometimes we don't. So I showed you the apple already. Now I'm going to show you a pepper. It's a nice green bell pepper. We're growing these for the seedling sale. And when I cut it open, you'll see inside has this cool shape with different chambers. And in this piece right here, you'll find all the seeds. Usually I don't eat the seeds, but you can. If you have a hot pepper and you eat the seeds, you'll know it for sure. Bell peppers aren't hot though. Here's where it was growing on the plant. That's where it was attached. The other thing I want to show you. Oh, of course this one has no seeds. Let's see. Nope, no seeds in this lemon. There's a lemon. Usually you'll find seeds going around, some in each segment. Sometimes plants are grown in a way that makes them not have seeds, because some people prefer seedless, like grapes or watermelons. Okay, I cut open another one, and here's the seed. You see it? It's a little lemon seed. It's interesting because sometimes you'll cut open a lemon or an orange, and you'll find 20 seeds. And in this one, I only see 2 seeds. And the one before that, 0 seeds. You just don't know. You could have fun helping to make a meal at your house with produce and looking for the seeds that are inside. One year, after Halloween, we put our jack-o'-lantern on the compost pile, and before we knew it, we had a new pumpkin growing the next year. So sometimes your compost can start sprouting things. Okay, now I have a giant book to show you. You might have seen this book before. At my house, we also have it as a small book. This one came from the farm. So it's one of these giant books like we had last week about the chicken. This is a story by Eric Carle called The Tiny Seed. See if I can show you the whole book. It's so big. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. This is a huge book. Good for stories. Nice big pictures. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Do you see the tiniest seed? Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. I wonder if that fish will eat the seed that fell into the water. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. Uh-oh. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse does not see it. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls, the seeds grow so round and full that they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore, they are plants. First they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late, hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. Ooh, it's a big foot coming. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and ooh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 6. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them, then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. A boy has picked a flower to give to a friend. That's nice. Her. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? Wow. Now it is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. Wow. All from that one tiny little seed. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big, beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. The end. And it starts all over again. There's a beautiful sunshine. It's pretty sunny outside today. Okay, I have some more jokes for you. What do you call corn that joins the army? So we know that corn seed is basically just a little piece of the corn that you put in the ground. And what is that little piece called? It's the answer to this joke. What do you call corn that joins the army? If you have any suggestions, you can put them in the chat box. The answer is kernel. Ah, we have the right answer. That's right. So corn kernel is what you plant in the ground to grow corn, and it's also a funny answer to a funny joke. And my last joke for you today is, what do you get when two peas fight? Two peas get into a fist fight and they're mad at each other and they're punching. What do you get when two peas get in a fight? Think about that one. I'm going to open another seed packet and show you something else we're going to grow outside in my yard. And we're also growing at the farm. Swiss chard. We grow beautiful rainbow chard at the farm. The stems are like these, all different colors. So pretty. If you've ever come to our fall festival, you've probably seen the rainbow chard growing out in the field. Before I show you these, the answer to the question, the joke, what do you get when two peas fight, is black-eyed peas. So here's our rainbow chard. Let's see what these seeds look like. Oh, these are interesting. Little prickly seeds. Can you see that? A little prickly seed. Kind of looks like a little peppercorn. That's how you start growing Swiss chard. And Swiss chard is delicious, especially if you saute it up in a pan. That's how I like to eat it. Okay, we have one more story, a few more minutes. This story isn't just about seeds. It's called Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt. So it's about seeds and other things. You'll see here there's an earthworm down in the dirt. There's butterfly. I see a robin and a ladybug. Some pretty flowers. These are black-eyed Susans. My name is Susan. Okay, let's read this one. This book is by Kate Mesner with art by Christopher Silas Neal. There's some drawings here, some sketches. If you've been watching our Gardening with Hope program on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock or recorded at any time, you'll see that Hope's been making some nice drawings of fruits and vegetables for the gardening class. You might want to try drawing some of these. Up in the garden I stand and plan, my hands full of seeds and my head full of dreams. Spring sun shines down to melt the sleepy snow, wind whistles through last year's plants, and mud sucks at my rain boots. It's not quite time, Nana says. Down in the dirt, things need to dry out and warm up. What's down there, I ask. Down in the dirt is a whole busy world of earthworms and insects, digging and building and stirring up soil. They're already working down in the dirt. Up in the garden, we snap brittle stalks, scoop rustly armfuls and wheel away weeds for the chickens. While they squabble and scratch, we spread compost over the soil. Down in the dirt, pillbugs chew through last year's leaves. I give a gentle poke. They roll up tight and hide in plated suits of armor, roly-poly round. Up in the garden, it's time to plant. I trail a furrow with my finger and sprinkle seeds in a careful row. Give them a drink, Nana says. We pat them down to snuggle in the dark. Down in the dirt, a tomato hornworm rests, waiting for wings, and the leaves where she'll lay her eggs. Up in the garden, carrot plants sprout, pea blossoms bloom, wasps are on the prowl, and honeybees visit, legs loaded with pollen. I weed and wilt in the sun, so strong even Nana looks for shade. Down in the dirt, earthworms tunnel deep. I'm jealous of their cool, damp dark. The earthworms down there? Up in the garden, rain shower! Nana turns the hose on me. Eee! I hide behind the cucumber vines, but their leaves can't save me. I shiver and laugh, drenched in Nana's rain. Down in the dirt, water soaks deep. Roots drink it in, and a long-legged spider stilt walks over the streams. There's the spider. Up in the garden, there's so much to eat. Ladybugs feast on aphids. Nana crunches green beans. I bite a ripe tomato, warm from the sun. Juice dribbles down my chin. Down in the dirt, a robin's beak finds a cricket, a beetle, a grub. Slugs are scrumptious too. There's the grub. It's a little snail. Up in the garden, we pick cukes and zucchini, harvesting into the dark. Bats swoop through the sunflowers, and I pluck June bugs from the basil until it's time for bed. Down in the dirt, skunks work the night shift. They snuffle and dig and gobble cutworms while I sleep. Up in the garden, a praying mantis wakes to hunt mosquitoes. Nana sprays away the aphids, and I'm after grasshoppers, ready to swoosh, but snap! Someone else is faster. Down in the dirt, a smooth, shining garter snake crunches on supper. Up in the garden, the wind grows cool. Pumpkins blush orange and sunflowers bow to September. Nana ties them together to build a house for reading. Down in the dirt, an orb weaver spins her web, strand by silken strand. She'll munch on moths tonight. Up in the garden, colored leaves litter the squash vines, and we know the cold is coming. Hurry, hurry, and harvest. There's enough for the neighbors, too. Down in the dirt, frantic ants gather what we leave behind. They're storing food for cooler days ahead. Up in the garden, frost draws lace on leftover leaves, where secret egg sacs hang, waiting for the warm to return. We say goodbye and spread the winter blankets. Down in the dirt, beetles burrow, ants scurry home, earthworms curl tight in the dark. When Grandpa calls us in for soup, an autumn moon is rising. Up in the garden, dry corn stalks tremble, and the wind smells like winter. But the long, ripe days of summer still rest in the garden beds. The ladybugs and bumblebees, earthworms and ants are hunkered down, hiding, biding their time. Dreaming of sunshine and blossoms and sprouts. Under the bare arms of trees and the blanketing snow, a whole new garden sleeps, down in the dirt. The end. There's some information here about the things that the author mentions: chickens, pill bugs, tomato hornworms, honeybees, all the things in the book. You can learn more about the animals and the insects and the arachnids. Here's the sketches again. Here's some of the things we'll have at the seedling sale. Nasturtium, which is an edible flower. It's part of the Brassica family. We'll have marigolds, which are great to plant for bees. What else? These are mostly flowers. I believe we will have sunflowers. That's the end of the books for today. The only other thing I have to show you today is we've been talking a lot about seeds that grow on the insides of plants, like the lemon and apple. But I just wanted to mention that there are also some fruits that have seeds that grow on the outside. And this is a little preview of what we're going to talk about next week for story time. Here's some strawberries, and as you can see, all their seeds are on the outside. Next week, we're going to learn about this incredible author and artist who makes all kinds of interesting creatures out of fruits and vegetables and seeds and plants. So I hope that you will join us. His name is Saxton Freeman and Joost Elfers. They make these amazing characters out of fruits and veggies. So next week, I have several books to share with you. Again, at 1 o'clock on Friday, story time with me, Sue. Can also join us on Mondays for Healthy Cooking with Jay, and on Wednesdays for Gardening with Hope. The shows are live at 1 o'clock. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us comments real time in the chat box, or you can check out our channel anytime and watch the pre-recorded shows. So this program will be available if you'd like to watch it at another time again. Thank you very much for joining us. It was great to talk to you today. Remember, our seedling sale is coming up soon. Keep an eye on our website. You'll be able to start ordering seedlings on April 27th, and we'll have them available for pickup in mid-May. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.